Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets, here with your weekly edition of the Marijuana Market Update. I do want to start by thanking everyone who watches our videos each and every week. Adam, Charles, myself, we do it because we want to help you through even the most difficult times of the markets. It's great when they're up, but it's rough when it's down. But Adam, Charles, and I have your back. We're going to walk you through each and every step of the way. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, get notified each and every time we post up a new video. And I would encourage you to check out our website, which is moneyandmarkets.com. There you can check out our proprietary stock power rating system. You can get the ratings of thousands of stocks. You can see a breakdown of fundamental and technical ratings, which make up the overall stock rating. Just go to moneyandmarkets.com and you can just go in the top corner there and type in a ticker or company in the search bar on the top right, and you'll see stocks ranking, stock chart, fundamental data, any analysis we publish, and it's all right there at your fingertips. And from there, you can build your own watch list. You can track stock performance, and you can do all that on the site for free. Now, in today's Marijuana Market Update, I'm going to answer a reader question about an international cannabis stock, and I'm going to take a look at some states to watch regarding cannabis legalization efforts. So let's start with a question from Scott. He emailed me at our email address, which is feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. He said, Matt, what do you think of IM Cannabis? Thanks, Scott. Scott, thanks for the question and for asking. We're going to make sure we send you out some Money and Markets gear to show our appreciation. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Now, to answer your question, I always like to start by diving into a company because not everyone knows what company is when I get asked. Not everyone knows what it is. So I like to kind of give a little bit of background. So let's look at IM Cannabis. It trades on the NASDAQ under IMCC. It also trades on the same ticker on the Canadian Stock Exchange, the CSX. It's a company that breeds, grows, and supplies medical and adult use cannabis products, and it mainly services Israel, Germany, and Canada. The company has headquarters in Toronto, but its global headquarters is in Tel Aviv, Israel. It offers strains under several different brand names like Roma, Dairy Queen, no, not the ice cream place. It also has London, Tel Aviv, Paris, and Pandora. So you kind of get an idea as to its naming conventions. It also has CBD oil products marketed under the IMC brand. And additionally, IMCC offers its own intellectual property services to the medical cannabis industry. So now in the last 12 months, IMCC has dropped about 64% and is trading about 40 cents off its 100-day simple moving average. However, it is still above its 50-day moving average and has experienced a 26.7% bounce off its 52-week low that it hit back in mid-March. IMCC sustained that bounce up thanks to a really, really good quarterly and yearly report it issued last week. Some of the highlights of that report include a 309% growth in revenues from Q4 of 2020 to Q4 of 2021, a $7.5 million positive change in its net loss from $20 million in Q4 of 2020 to only $12.5 million in Q4 of 2021. Its annual revenues for 2021 were up 242% from the previous year, and the company sold 8,410 kilograms of dried cannabis flower in 2021. How much did it sell in 2020, you might ask? Only 2,586 kilograms sold. The company also gave positive feedback for sales and gross margin for the first quarter of 2022, which it will officially report in the middle of May. Now, the future revenue picture for IMCC also looks very promising. After IMCC reported massive increases in total revenue from 2020 to 2021, expectations from analysts only get stronger. Revenue for 2022 is expected to grow to $103.6 million. That's a 149.9% jump from last year. And by 2024, the total annual revenue for the company is projected to hit about $159.5 million. To put that in perspective, that's a 270% increase from 2020. Which is massive. Now, part of the reason that IMCC recently announced it was one of the main reasons why we see and project this increase is because the company recently announced it was streamlining its products and its delivery method. It announced the closure of a cultivation farm in Israel and is going to begin importing more indoor-grown cannabis from its Canadian facilities, not its Israeli ones. The company is basically closing an underperforming Israeli farm and will import popular cannabis from Canada to Israel and Germany, thus trimming their operational costs. So see, importing current stock from Canada is a lot less in terms of operation than it is to plant, grow, and harvest from a facility that may seem like it's right next door in Israel. It's not necessarily that much more cost effective. It's actually less just to import what you're already growing at larger facilities elsewhere. So now let's look at IMCC through the lens of our cannabis power rating system. Overall, IMCC scores a bullish 71. It's actually in the top 50 of all the cannabis stocks that we rank. And a large reason for that higher rating is due to its value. IMCC scores a bullish 71 on our value metric. It currently trades with a price to sales ratio of 3.29 compared to its peer average of 6.1. Its price to book ratio is at about 0.89 compared to its peers 1.51 average. So it is undervalued compared to others in the industry. Now, outside of the rating system, because I also like to look at other metrics, even though I don't necessarily rank stocks on these metrics, I do look at other metrics when I look at stocks. IMCC also shows very good growth potential with a one-year annual sales growth rate of 256.6% and a one-year EPS growth rate of 56%. Now, as for quality, IMCC does have negative returns on assets, equity, and investments, but those returns are all significantly higher than their peers. So you've got IMCC's return-ons, which are negative, but they're only in negative between 10 and 16%, whereas their peers are upwards of 30 to 40% in the red for those return-ons. So overall, Scott, I like IMCC because of its value and its growth potential. I would like to see a little bit more momentum before I would buy, but I certainly think this is a cannabis stock that could be going places here in the near future. So good call, a good pick there. I think it's got a lot of promise. And thanks for your question, Scott. Be on the lookout for an email from my peers to get your contact information so we can send you some of that cool money and markets gear for asking your question. Now, let's talk about legalization. And I don't mean federal legalization because that's not likely to happen anytime soon. Marijuana Business Daily recently did an overview of states that have a high probability of passing some form of cannabis legalization this year. Some of the states to watch include Rhode Island. The state Senate, House, and the governor's office all have each proposed a form of adult use legalization. So there's basically three forms out there. The House and the Senate versions are pretty close aligned, as they typically would be, but they have not been voted on in their respective chamber committees. The legislature bills include a 10% excise tax in addition to the current state sales tax rate of 7%. Now, the Rhode Island legislature adjourns on June 30th. Then there's South Carolina. The state Senate passed a medical cannabis bill, and the House advanced an amended version of that bill. So you have one bill in the Senate that's already passed. You have an amended version on the House side that has not passed. But when it does, then those two will meet in a conference committee and try to work out their differences. It would only allow medical cannabis in the form of olives or of oils, solves, patches, or vapors, and the number of pharmacies allowed to sell would be very limited. Now, the South Carolina legislature plans to adjourn on May 12th. So we've got a very short time to turn around that legislation if it hopes to reach Governor Henry McMaster's desk to become law. Then there's Delaware. Representative Ed Osienski has filed a new adult use bill after his first attempt failed by just 2 votes in their legislature. The bill would permit 30 retail stores, 30 processing licenses, and current medical cannabis operators would be allowed to apply for some of those adult use licenses. It also allows cities in the state to opt out of allowing recreational marijuana sales by ordinance. Be interesting to see where this goes. The Delaware legislature will adjourn on June 30th. And there's my home state of Kansas. I've always kind of looked at this as with a little bit of a joking eye because it's a very conservative state that really doesn't look at legalizing things like that very often. In fact, border county legalization adult alcohol sales only came into existence in the last 20 years. The state Senate in Kansas has a medical marijuana bill introduced and in committee. Hearings have been held, but no votes have been taken. It would establish a director of alcohol and cannabis control, which would control licenses and designate a pharmacist consultant to audit medical cannabis recommendations to patients. So basically, if you're in Kansas, this law is approved and you get a recommendation to be on medical cannabis, there's going to be someone who's actually going to oversee and audit that to make sure that it's the right diagnosis. The Kansas legislature will adjourn on May 20th. Then in North Carolina, the state's General Assembly has a medical marijuana bill that has already moved through several committees and would issue 10 medical marijuana supplier licenses, and each licensee could operate 4 dispensaries, with at least one in a county designated as economically disadvantaged. Now, other states like Minnesota, New Hampshire, and Pennsylvania have some kind of recreational marijuana bills floating through their respective legislatures, but only in New Hampshire has a bill already passed at least one chamber and moved to the other. Now, one thing of note here, I want to put all this in perspective. Marijuana Business Daily also projects that the U.S. cannabis industry could add nearly $100 billion, that's billion with a B, to the U.S. economy this year. That's 20% up from last year and could reach 155 billion by 2026. So massive impact on the horizon for the cannabis industry in terms of the general economy here in the US. That's all for me this week. If you have a question about a cannabis stock or maybe the broader market, email me. The email address you can reach me at is feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. We'll flash that down below. You can also comment below on our YouTube channel. If you send us a question and we use it, we're going to hook you up with some free Money and Markets gear like t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, all sorts of good stuff. We'll get that sent out your way. Don't forget about all the great content we have on our YouTube channel. It is the best investment insight, and it is all yours for free. Follow me on Twitter. I give you even more insights, not just into the cannabis market, the broader market, sports, all sorts of good stuff. At least I try to anyway. You can find me on Twitter. My handle is @InvestWithMattC. That's InvestWithMattC. Thank you to all of you who watch our videos each and every week. We love to do it. We want to bring you the best insights into not just cannabis, but to broader investing in the economy and make sure you're on the right track for profits in your portfolio. And on that note, make sure you check out moneyandmarkets.com each and every day for new content, provide you that safe, sound, smart, simple, profitable investment information for your portfolio. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets and host of the Marijuana Market Update. Until next time, everyone, safe trading.